man accused of murdering his own mother, the charges he faces, and what he told investigators about the crime. Plus, the mayor, city council, and school committee all take their oath at the city's inauguration ceremony. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Worcester's elected officials took the stage for the city's inauguration ceremony Tuesday. Mayor Joseph Petty will begin his fourth term after winning the election in November. Dozens filled Mechanics Hall to see the mayor give his inaugural address, as well as the swearing in of the city council and school committee. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with the details. Cam?
Yeah, Anna, Mayor Joseph Petty will now officially start his fourth term as the mayor of Worcester, Massachusetts. And while the city saw many familiar faces re-elected in November, there are a few newcomers, and they're ready to get started. 2018 brings familiar and new faces to Worcester's local government.
So help me God. Congratulations.
Mayor Joseph Petty was sworn in for his fourth term at the city's inauguration ceremony Tuesday, and after officially taking the oath, Petty says he has priorities moving forward.
I want to focus on the neighborhoods, how you create more ownership in the triple-decker neighborhoods where certain parts of the city where the home ownership doesn't exist. I'd like to see the parks invested even more than what we're doing, whether it be Green Hill Park. Petty defeated veteran at-large councilor Constantina Lukes in 2017's election. He says he hopes to keep the city moving in a positive direction during his next term. People are interested in coming in the city. They see the momentum, they see the leadership we have here, the city manager, the superintendent, the business community, and the neighborhood leaders, and the college universities. We're all working together. Also sworn in was Worcester's two newest city councilors, Sean Rose of District 1 and Matt Wally of District 5. Now officially part of council, the two have issues they want to take care of, such as public education.
Tree issues, we got some street issues, we got some light issues all throughout the district. I think one of the first things that I want to tackle is really exploring any funding out there for Ferncote Middle School.
And I want to make sure that the streets are safe. We want to make sure that there's funding for park maintenance, and then big issue with two schools in the district, South High and Doherty High.
With a week before they take their seats for the first time, both Wally and Rose are eager to get started. I'm
excited to have my freshman term on the council, and I'm excited. There's a lot of work ahead.
I'm really anxious to get started. Like I said, this waiting time in between sitting on the sidelines has really been uncomfortable for me. I'm anxious to get in, and I'm excited.
Now, Mayor Petty says one of the biggest items on his agenda is to continue to attract outside investors into Worcester and also continue the city's economic development. Anna?
Thanks for that, Cam. The Worcester School Committee also took the stage Tuesday as part of the ceremony. Brian O'Connell, John Monfredo, Molly McCullough, John Foley, Anna Biancaria, and newcomer Dante Comparetto were sworn in. Comparetto will take the spot of former committee member Donna Calorio after she was voted out in November's election. With the inauguration over, the committee says there's a lot of work to do in the district.
There's a strategic planning process happening for the schools, and I think it's very important that we get that right. And so a lot of my time is currently spent on that.
Looking at reading on grade level by the end of grade 3, what can we do to make that happen, and what we have to, what resources could we have to? The other thing too was chronic absenteeism. Again, if the kids aren't in school, they're not learning.
Both committee members say they're looking forward to the new South High School as well as other new schools to come in the future. The man accused of brutally attacking his mother to death faces a judge today. Prosecutors say 56-year-old Ellen Medulka was found dead in her Worcester home over the weekend. Doctors say her son suffers from schizophrenia. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
John Medulka appears in Worcester District Court Tuesday. He is charged with murder in the death of his 56-year-old mother.
Assaulted his mother, blunt force, and with a knife.
According to court documents, Medulka called his father and told him he murdered his mother Saturday inside their Bailey Street home. Residents in the quiet neighborhood are shocked.
Well, it's awful. This has been I've been here for over 30 years in the neighborhood, and, it's been a crime-free neighborhood.
Court documents also show the 26-year-old told detectives he struck Ellen Medulka in the head with a metal staff approximately 10 times and then stabbed her with a kitchen knife in the chest to make sure she was dead.
The defendant has carried a diagnosis of schizophrenia for approximately the past 8 years.
Medalka received a mental health evaluation prior to his arraignment. The forensic psychologist says he's been off his medication for 7 months.
While the defendant today prematurely terminated the interview with me today, given his presentation today, as well as his clinical history, does raise concerns about the extent that the symptoms of his mental illness may be impairing his abilities related to competence to stand trial.
Medalka's father and family were inside the courtroom but declined to comment. His attorney says Medalka is upset and confused.
He's been suffering from mental illness for a great number of years. There seems to be little doubt that that serious mental illness played a role in his actions in causing his mother's death. I don't even think he thought about getting away with it, if you will. And so we'll have to be dealing with the whys of what happened in the months to come.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Switching gears now, new year, new website for the city of Worcester. The newly redesigned site launched January 1st. City officials say the new site has been designed to improve the city's web presence and to make city government more accessible to the public. The new features include easier navigation, enhanced site search capability, and improving transparency with municipal calendar and meeting agenda. According to city officials, the launch of the new site is the beginning of a consistently evolving process of updates and upgrades. Users are able to submit feedback through the site's online survey, as well as send in their favorite Worcester photos for possible inclusion on the site. Walmart in West Boylston remains closed tonight due to a pipe burst. According to West Boylston Police, a frozen sprinkler head in the lobby of the store burst around 10:15 this morning, causing a considerable amount of damage near the cashier's registers. Signs were posted on the door about the incident, and customers were turned away. Police say the store is working to clean up and hopes to be open as soon as possible. Even with the bitter cold temperatures we've seen over the past week, not all lakes and ponds are completely frozen. Over the weekend, 2 men fell through the ice on Lake Quinsigamond. Now first responders are warning people to stay off the ice. Our Brittany Schaefer has the story.
You may think with the recent cold spell that the ice is thick enough, but the Worcester Fire Department is saying otherwise. They're warning residents to not go out on the ice. Currently, I'm in front of Indian Lake here, which is similar to Lake Quinsigamond, where officials say the big body of water has a lot of moving water and it's difficult for it to fully freeze. The Worcester Fire Department is warning residents to stay off the ice after 2 men fell into frigid waters at Lake Quinsigamond.
What happens, unfortunately, in those kind of situations, the person falls through, and of course the water is warmer than the ice, so it splashes warmer water on the ice. It'll start melting all around there. That small ice hole becomes a larger area.
Neighbors rushed into a kayak to paddle out and help save the victims until first responders arrived.
Came out, there's a kayak over there, grabbed a kayak and some rope and ran out there, but I had no grip once I got out there, so they were just pulling me as I was trying to pull them.
Lieutenant John Franco says this was the first time in years someone has fallen through the ice, but they do have the proper equipment and are always ready.
He'll start pulling up. Tony will push him up on the ice shelf, and then we'll slide all the way to the shore.
The city's Department of Parks and Recreation only allows skating at Elm and University Park. They test the ice every week and say even with these cold temperatures, it's still not safe to walk on.
We test on a regular basis for ice thickness. All other facilities are off limits.
The ice was 1.5 inches when they tested last week and say they look for about 6 inches in thickness before opening the ponds.
A couple of inches are usually pretty good for general use, a couple of people, but for us it's 6, and again, we're setting it up for the maximum load that we may be able to anticipate. It's still not safe to be on the ice, as you can see with the Lake Quinsigamond issue this past weekend.
Franco says the 2 men who fell through the ice are lucky to be alive.
As lucky as you can be. They should play Powerball this week. It's hard to maintain your body temperature. They only had a few more minutes left. If those 2 guys weren't there, I don't think they would have made it on the ice shelf by the time we get dressed and get out there. We've been really close.
Now, the Department of Public Works says University and Elm Park should open in the next few weeks if the temperatures remain this cold. At Indian Lake, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Students at Tohoto Regional Middle School getting an extra day of vacation today after the school's boilers shut down. The school superintendent says it was discovered around 4 a.m. by a custodian. Crews were working on repairing the heat throughout the day Tuesday. Students should be back to their normal school routines Wednesday. Tantasco Regional School District and Quabbin Regional School District had 2-hour delays today because of the cold weather. A Littleton woman is the victim of the state's first fatal fire of 2018. An elderly woman was killed in Littleton Monday morning. She's been identified as 77-year-old Jan Carner. Her husband was able to escape the flames. Fire officials say efforts to fight the flames were hampered by piles of clutter. The cause of the fire is still unknown. The holidays are over and Worcester has 3 sites opened where residents can drop off their Christmas trees. Only real trees are allowed to be dropped off and they're free of charge. There are 3 sites, one on Clark Street, Millbury Street, and Chandler Street. The city says Christmas trees will not be collected at the curb. The locations are open through January